Fortunately, I know what the discrimination is from the first hand. A few years ago, I faced with discrimination in my desk as a journalist from unfortunately a woman who was at that time editor-in-chief. She was a definitely bad person who discriminated all female colleagues here in our desk, and especially if they were moms or if they were in marriage. The reason I really don't know. I can just suppose some things, but that was really bad and hard time for my female co-workers and me. Definitely she wasn't a good editor, she wasn't a leader, she was not supportive woman. So in that moment we didn't know what to do, because a lot of my co-workers had loans. Also some of them need salaries normally. So we didn't react at that moment. Couple of years later, that woman is not a part of our team because of discrimination and mobbing. That's not the only time when I saw discrimination, but this was the most difficult period to explain what actually happened. She was a woman who didn't give any good ideas to her journalists. And when we had some good ideas, she told us that they are stupid. Few days after that, we could see those ideas and those topics from us that she gave them to men colleagues. So it was really unhappy place and really unhappy desk in that moment. Also, I was in situation where I saw that some of my men colleagues going further on their roles just because they are men's, not because of their experience or knowledge. I think that is something that we could see in a lot of media outlets in Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's also stereotype. If we think that only men's abusing women's, I had a different experience, but regarding to your question, actually it's hard to be a journalist in Bosnia and Herzegovina, not just a female, also men journalists, but it's worse if you are female, because we are faced with harassment oftenly than men colleagues, which includes also sexual harassment, hate speech against women journalists, and what is the most important, there is no enough punishment for those, I would say, criminal act against women journalists. I know one journalist, my colleague from other media outlet. She was abused and harassed by a man colleague, and also by a man who is working in a Ministry of Human Rights, but he got only disciplinary 10% of his salary. So that's not good preventive punishment for him or for the others who will try to harassment women or journalists in Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's something that we could see almost every day during our tasks. Physically, there are institutions like prosecution's office where you can go and tell them what you experienced, but unfortunately, in the case I mentioned of my colleague, when she went to prosecutor's office, they told to her, okay, but what you are writing about? Did you write something wrong about that person, so he act on you because of that? So there is not enough sensitivity in the institutions, and that's the reason why people here does not believe in them. I can tell you a situation here in my office. We have a lot of young journalists who are dedicated to their works, who are brave, and I'm really proud of them. As I can see, my other older colleagues are supportive too. They are sharing their knowledges with them. But as I can hear from some other media outlets in Bosnia and Herzegovina, they are using labor force of young people by not giving them salary, and oftenly they are discriminating young co-workers. So I believe that we are a society who need to give more support to young people, not just in journalism but everywhere. Definitely, I think that we need more education about what harassment actually means, what discrimination means, what is violence in every situations. And we need to support young people. We need to support young journalists, and they need to stand up and to talk to every media outlet who want to took their knowledge and their labor for ideas and hours of working days. That's not okay, that's not fair. You need to support us, you need to give us salary equally as to every other workers. So I think that we need to educate the youngest one that's not okay. Discrimination is not okay nowhere, and being not supportive is not okay. All these topics are not at the media agenda, unfortunately, regularly as they should be. For example, media in Bosnia and Herzegovina are writing or reporting about something only when something bad is happening. For example, if we are speaking about murdering of women, they will write about it, unfortunately, oftenly unprofessionally, with a lot of disinformations and with not enough, with not moral, but there is not enough articles, analyses, TV shows about how to prevent discrimination, how to prevent hate speech, how to punish, or what we could do, what we can change in our society, and so on. So definitely there is a space, but we are not using the space enough. We need more support from management, we need more support from society, but also from prosecutor's office, from courts who will punish all who abuse journalists, who are doing, for example, who are having hate speech against anyone and so on. Until we saw that in our society, we cannot speak about good time for journalists or journalism. As we forgot what Clara Zetkin actually left to us, we need to remind ourselves who we are and what we can, but also to look around us and listen more carefully. Our sisters, our colleagues, our friends, and all other women that 8 March are not flowers. Is not a flower, or flowers is not a gift or some party. It's day like every else, where we need to support each other most. We need to be wind in the back of young people. We need to be support to every woman or every man in our society to achieve their goals, to success.